best thing is you get outdoors and you see nature at its best. You know, you see great things out there. You not only see birds, you see a lot of other stuff, but you're primarily interested in birds.
Well, I started birding because I married Jack, and then I found out he was a birder afterwards. And so it was a good excuse to go out with Jack and be outdoors and walk around. And as I've done it more, I've learned more birds and enjoy it.
Birding is a great thing to do. Keeps your mind working well, keeps boredom away, and I go birding because I want to be with Joyce. She's out there birding. Birding is kind of an escape from what you have to do in your working job and working situations. Forget about all your troubles and think about challenges of identifying birds and finding new birds.
I've always done it. Just as the older I got, the more I wanted to know what I was seeing. You know, rather than just the robins and cardinals and that. And because you see more than just birds, it's like everything else. When you're out there, you'll see more than birds. I even got a job that I can watch birds.
I grew up in the plant business, so I'm tuned into plants, and at a certain point realized there was no dividing line between the plants and the birds, that they're connected. So I started paying more attention to birds. Birds are just fascinating, and they're just these amazing creatures, and obviously they do things that we can't do, like fly, so they're amazing.
And when did you start getting interested in birds and paying attention to it?
Well, I always paid attention, but I really didn't know what they were until I took an ornithology class at college, and then you kind of got to start learning. So since then I've branched out and learned a lot of them, but I still don't know the warblers like I should.
Obviously, you've been doing this your whole life, but how did it start?
Not my whole life. I started when I was 12. I enjoy bird watching because, first of all, it's challenging, the identification of the birds, particularly certain families like the epidemics flycatchers, the sparrows, and the shorebirds, and the gulls, and the terns. They're very challenging. It's hard to identify them. It's hard to find them. And it provides for a lot of mental stimulation. It's good for physical activity. If you're a bird watcher and you want to see birds, you can't just stay in one place. You've got to, if you want to see a lot of birds, you've got to go to a lot of places and do a lot of walking. And I've walked over 30 miles in a day just to see one bird, and that's a lot of exercise, and it keeps you in shape. And
I started birding seriously in 1980 when I met Lee, and first thing I found, I bought a bird book, and the birds don't look like they do in the bird books. Of course, you never see a side view of a bird sitting still. And what I learned from Lee is that he was identifying the birds by the sound. And so early on, I tried to learn the calls of the birds too, but also I keep a birding journal, and after I see a new bird, I try to draw it, and of course I have to look at the book. But that helps me remember what they look like, especially the warblers.
Oh, I got interested in birds about the age of 13 when my mother married a fellow, and his two sons, one's a master falconer and the other one flew hawks. Is hunting for pheasants and rabbits and stuff. And I kind of got hooked on birds of prey at that time. They were flying red tails, prairie falcons, peregrines, kestrels. 1989, 88, 89. One of my sons was in Cub Scouts, and I took him up to Colored Sands. And I've been hooked entirely since then. Now been up there about 23 years, going on 24, and I enjoy the challenge of seeing what I can see, go around the country trying to find all the birds you can find.
One day I was at work, and this man over here came into the store, and we started talking about it. He told me that he banded red-tailed hawks. I wanted to know more about it. And it took me about a season and a half before I did go up there and start learning about them, but once I was up there, I got hooked.
It's something I did a long time ago, but then kids and life got in the way. And now that they're off to college, I can start it up again, and these guys made it exciting for me. No matter what kind of environment you go to, there's a different type of bird, and I think that's really cool. Because I'm the same wherever I go, but birds are different. That's cool.
When I was a little girl, my one aunt lived out in the country, and she was she liked to teach you all about the flowers and the birds, anything nature. And she'd take us around, me and my cousins as little kids, and we'd have to know what all the different flowers were, but then also what birds she had out there. And then I got older and married and raising kids and working, and really kind of got away from it on a daily basis, except for when I'd be sitting and I'd notice birds. And then I met Larry 10 years ago, and he was very much into nature and the birds.
Birding for me started when a friend made a bird feeder for me. So then I started keeping track and found I was very interested. I'd come from a hunting and a trapping background, so I was out in the outdoors all the time, and this was just a new aspect. I took it and ran with it, and I've enjoyed it. It fills my hours all the time because I love being outside, and it's just one more thing. And I think an important point is that when we know the names of these birds, we have more respect for them, and I think a lot of things in nature are that way.
Birds are beautiful, fascinating creatures, and I don't care whether I've seen one bird once or a million times. I still am amazed by how beautiful they are and how wonderful it is, the world that they live in. And one of the things that's fun about bird watching is sharing it with other people that have the same interest. And I don't care where you go, if you run into another bird watcher, you've got an instant friend, somebody that's interested in the same things you are and are willing to share the joys that they've had in finding something new or going after something. So it's a very rewarding activity.